Hey guys, what's going on? It's Eli with Little Blue. That's right, we are finally reviewing um, uh, probably, one of the best franchises of Disney, and the first film, of course. Finally, and at long last, we are reviewing the first Pirates of the Caribbean film. Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great movie.
What do we have to say about this?
Actually just watched it.
Yeah, and as we record this, we had watched it tonight.
Yeah, and that was probably my fifth time seeing it. Maybe
Fifth time?
Fifth at least.
No, it can't be that. It can't be possible.
Well, it's the first Disney movie that was based off a ride.
Well, technically, before Pirates, like Disney kind of was kind of doing that already. It first started with the TV movie Tower of Terror, and they took that as inspiration for going forward with that, making others. Like Country Bears came first, and Mission to Mars, which had to do something with Mission Space, that came in 2000. Country Bears was a year before Pirates. And in 2003, you had Pirates and the Haunted Mansion.
What I'm saying is it's the first time that they've come up with, and maybe I'm misunderstanding what you're saying, but
yeah,
Pirates of the Caribbean was created, decades ago.
I know what I read. What I wrote.
And
what I read.
Right, and none of the other, it was the first full length. Put it this way, hit movie that now has a series of movies.
Yeah,
made
like the only
based off a ride.
Yeah, the only film adaptation of a Disney attraction to continue on. So
none of the others
succeeded,
including Country Bears, etc. None of them have succeeded,
and especially
the way Pirates of the Caribbean.
Especially, it's sad that the Haunted Mansion didn't either.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm going to say up front, Johnny Depp is a terrific actor.
Yes,
he is great as Captain Jack Sparrow.
Yep.
But absolutely,
Captain Jack Sparrow.
Hector Barbosa, played by Jeffrey Rush, is
Barbosa.
Absolutely my favorite pirate in that series. He absolutely embodies what you would imagine a pirate to be.
Oh yeah. Just his face and his eyes and his voice, his laugh, And
when we first meet him in this movie, he's ruthless. I mean, he's ruthless, cold-hearted, underhanded.
But one thing is, he's also trying to help his crew, because they've been cursed.
They've been cursed, and his line, when and he says, Miss Swan, you'd better start believing in ghost stories.
That's not how it goes.
Well,
you best start believing in ghost stories, Miss Turner.
You're in one.
You're in one.
That's like the greatest line ever.
Yeah.
That's my favorite line in that movie.
Oh yeah, probably everybody's favorite.
And his character develops, over time, his edges soften a little bit. Yeah. But he's still my favorite. He is the caricature of a pirate to me.
Yes.
Still love Captain Jack Black.
Captain Jack Sparrow.
Captain Jack Sparrow. Sorry.
You said Jack Black. Where did that come from?
Well, it's late, so
yeah.
But he is he's and based his character off Keith Richards, which is awesome.
Oh really?
Oh yeah, you didn't know that?
That's
how Keith Richards ended up being his father.
Yeah, that's right.
One of the Pirate Kings.
Paul McCartney also played his uncle.
Yeah, and he is.
And Johnny Depp, like he's a musician as well. So
he said that he based his character off Keith Richards and the fact that he imagined that pirates in that day were somewhat of a rock star. They would be the equivalent of a modern day rock star.
Exactly.
That they were revered. They were sung about. They were talked about. There were tales told about the pirates, and there were men who secretly had secret ambitions of being a pirate and maybe admired them secretly. So it was that's where he drew his character from. So I thought that was really interesting.
Also, I'm trying to remember. Oh yeah, because like all the other characters, from Will Turner, Elizabeth Swann, and Commodore, and Gibbs, all the others.
Yeah, Gibbs is perfect first mate.
Yeah.
For Jack Sparrow.
Oh yeah.
He is his character, his accent. He's appears to be
like Jack Sparrow, something like that.
Yeah,
that's the best I can do.
Yeah, he's British, maybe Irish, but it's a really good character. The plot of the movie with the medallion, the gold medallion,
right?
That was gold taken by Cortez.
The cursed treasure.
The cursed treasure. That was just a neat concept. That gold had to be returned in order for the curse to be broken, and they didn't realize that Will Turner was actually the son of Bootstrap Bill Turner, and he was the only one who could break the curse. His blood was the only one who could break the curse.
Yes.
And it was broken, but it was broken at a very opportune time, we'll say.
Yeah.
For Jack Sparrow anyway.
Right. And even because also it's established in the first film, of course, that I guess the Black Pearl crew, like they strapped Bootstrap to a cannon,
Yeah, strapped him to a cannon and sent him to Davy Jones' locker.
Yep.
Terrible death,
Yeah.
But he, of course, turns up in the next
which
movie.
We will which we will review soon, of course.
Which is my favorite.
Of course.
Is absolutely my favorite, and aside from Barbossa, Davy Jones is.
Yes.
Love that character.
Yeah.
Love that character.
More on Cursed Black Pearl, which we're reviewing.
Yes.
Isn't me like I guess some people forget that Zoe Saldana, she was in this film too.
Yeah, Zoe Saldana,
Saldana,
aka
Uhura. Navia, or whatever her name is in Avatar, Gamora.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
She does a good job. She's
in the Pirates world. Yeah.
That was actually her first major role. Yeah. Before the Star Trek movie, when she played Lieutenant Uhura.
Yes. And in the same year, Avatar. Mm-hmm. Both films come out the same year.
Exactly. Which I was discussing Avatar today. The fact that it was such a long movie, but a very good movie.
Yeah.
And now you have Flight of Passage at Animal Kingdom, which is supposed to be a really fantastic ride experience.
Yes.
So.
And all the others, those two crew members of Barbossa's,
Mm-hmm.
the one with the wooden eye, those two are pretty funny. And
those are what's their characters' names again?
Well, it's right there, Raggedy, I guess, right there and there. We're looking at. We always have the tablets. So.
Raggedy and Pintel.
Yes.
Those are two of the best.
Yeah,
they are two of the best, and they start out, of course, ruthless and underhanded.
Yes,
but they get to be they become more beloved. Yeah. As the series goes on.
And it's like they instantly just joined the new crew, the Black Pearls. Yeah. In the second film.
Let me ask you this observation.
Okay.
You and I both have been to Disney since Pirates of the Caribbean came out, since Dead Man's Chest came out, and. We weren't there. I really can't remember because we weren't there, say, before it got changed with having Jack Sparrow and Barbossa, because that didn't happen until when the sequel came out. Right. Well, I did see him, and I think you did see him too. I've seen him. I've seen Barbossa, and I've seen Jack Sparrow.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, did we ever get to experience? Didn't we get to experience how it originally was before they came into the ride?
Yes, we did. And
yeah, I just don't have memory of that because. When we went there when I was little, I'm sure, then it's true. Then we were there before they added Jack and Barbossa, Davy Jones. And,
we were. But
okay.
What I'm asking you is this. After we saw that movie, didn't it change your perspective on that ride? When you went through that ride, didn't it add another layer of the experience for you? In other words, you go through Pirates of the Caribbean, the ride at Disney, and you would take at face value everything you were seeing, and you say, oh, okay, this scene, these pirates are drunk, and these women are chasing them around, and they're setting the town on fire. Well, then we find out, after this movie, we find out that it's actually Tortuga, that's where that is being depicted, and that was all kind of written in after the fact.
Yeah, many bits and such from the ride that are incorporated, references from the ride that are in like the first film and so on.
Exactly, it's sort of like Disney came in, the writers that came in, and they filled in the blanks. Sort of explained that ride, what that ride was about before it was ever explained, you see. And that's what gave it a unique perspective. And then of course when they added Barbossa and they added
Sparrow.
Captain Sparrow, and then added Davy Jones, added that curtain that you come through, that
like
that mist.
That's supposed to be like a waterfall.
Exactly, and I think
then they later added in Blackbeard.
Yeah, but then I think they later moved it back to Davy Jones because that was the more popular version.
Yeah,
and a better version, I might add. When Blackbeard, I was like, because that was not my favorite pirate movie at all.
Yeah, I think it made a lot of sense when you had both of them there, so it was cool.
Yeah,
one at a time saying their lines,
But it was, but that ride experience, because it's what it really is.
Even they even had the mermaids in for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but yeah, and like what I was saying was like in the first film and so on, like what they added in is like Easter eggs and references from the ride, like the pirates getting the dog's attention, getting the key, that, and like in Tortuga, you see some familiar scenes like you see in the ride, like the pirates drinking the rum from the barrels. Yeah. And I think that it's in the second one, somebody getting dunked in the well.
Yeah, exactly.
So there you go. Yeah. So, and the action and adventure, of course, in the first one was great.
Yeah, it was. What really makes that movie is the musical score.
Yes,
that score is just fantastic.
Jack Sparrow's theme and that music, that dun 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 dun.
Yeah, I mean it is definitely swashbuckler music. I mean, big time.
Yes, it's and to think, because the first film was not composed by Hans Zimmer.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, the music that was in the first film, like Hans Zimmer, like he incorporated that, of course, when he composed the other 3 sequels.
Mm-hmm.
So, and Jack Sparrow with his famous lines, you'll always remember this as the day you almost caught Captain Jack Sparrow.
It's pretty good.
I mean, I could do a pretty good decent impression of him.
Well, you hear my Davy Jones when we do the next review. So.
Sure, yeah. And the other crew members, like Mr. Cotton and his parrot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he's a mute.
Yeah, that's had his tongue cut out, and he's like,
and his
and
the
Jack's
look,
like,
the look on Sparrow and Will's face.
Yeah,
Will
Sparrow
like kind of raises an eyebrow.
Yeah, and he Jack Sparrow's like recoils
it's like
yeah, exactly,
something like that. And the little guy, Marty. That's the character's name, Marty.
Marty, thank you.
Yeah, he was like kind of like we see him like right alongside with Gibbs,
mm-hmm.
and even Barbossa's monkey. It's interesting to see, because this, like, you would mostly see, I don't know, like, it just came to my head, like, you would mostly see pirate captains or whatever with parrots, but no, Barbossa's got a monkey
named Jack.
Yeah, Jack.
Jack.
And that scene where Jack is chasing Jack, well, thank you, Jack. And he says, you're welcome, and not you, we named the monkey Jack.
Exactly.
You notice that because when he said that, the monkey smiled.
The monkey smiled, but when you see them as they really are cursed, that monkey turns into this little skeleton.
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
It's hideous looking.
I like that one part when Elizabeth gets on board the Black Pearl, the monkey, Jack appears.
Yes.
But Elizabeth's not dealing with that. You see the look on Jack's face like, oh crap,
Yeah. He hits
the cannon and just he hits the water.
When Barbossa makes Elizabeth Swann put on the dress, and brings her to dinner.
Oh my gosh.
And feeds her, and he's
And Pintel said, you'll be dining naked with the crew.
Exactly.
Yeah. But go ahead.
But she chooses the other,
Yeah.
And he says, Barbossa says something to the effect of, "We don't stand on ceremony here, Miss Swann. You must be hungry." And and then she just goes into the food, man, and starts. And he's watching her like, and the reason is he's watching her. He's like, it's almost like a seduction. He's like, he's watching her eat, and then he says, next a bite of the apple. And she says, "You poisoned me." And he said, he says whatever he says. There wouldn't be any point of doing that. Or something like that. But the point was, he was kind of like living vicariously through her, watching her eat, because he couldn't eat himself because he was cursed.
Exactly.
And he missed food. So to get to see her eat and enjoy the food, he was just like, Yes,
and when it comes to the part where Elizabeth has seen all the crew skeletons. And that dialogue that Barbossa gives, not I cannot feel anything, not the wind on my face, and,
Exactly.
and the feel of a woman's flesh,
Exactly.
Yeah, and he's being serious on that because
he can't. I mean, he's cursed. He can't.
Well,
eat.
him and the
He can-
whole, well,
when
him and the
he
whole
says-
crew can't.
He says, food turns to ash when they eat it, in their mouths.
Right.
So,
So there you go.
Yeah.
I think I told you this once. I read this on IMDb, like the line that Barbossa gives, "Try the wine."
Yeah.
That's like a nod to the same line spoken to in A Clockwork Orange. Yeah. So.
I've never seen that movie all the way through.
Well, we should probably review it sometime. So.
I think that's the movie I watched the first 10 minutes and I said, okay, I'm out. It was a little too violent for me.
Yeah.
It got a little weird and I'm like, all right, yeah, I'm out on this. I like Stanley Kubrick, but...
And Malcolm McDowell.
He went over the edge on that for me. So it was a little like watching Kill Bill, I lasted a few minutes of Kill Bill and I was done.
Okay. And did you realize that something else that actually, because I think with this film, like at the, because Keira Knightley, she was 17 when they filmed that.
Yeah, she was very young. She was very young. She almost grew up in those movies.
Well, of course, yeah. Like, because, the next two Pirate films, they came out 2 years apart, so.
Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, Orlando Bloom.
Orlando Bloom.
He almost grew up with it too. He was very young in those movies starting out.
Oh gosh, yeah.
So those movies really made a name for both of them. So
yes, they did, and it was nice when they did come back and made an appearance in the fifth film, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And of course that opening to Pirates, we forgot to mention that, and we see that Gibbs, he was part of the Navy too.
Yeah,
the Grand Navy, is that right?
Royal Navy.
The Royal Navy, right.
Yeah.
And then...
British.
Yeah, and obviously, years later, Gibbs, he left, so, and became a pirate.
Exactly.
And
eventually we see those two officers that are on guard at the beginning. They eventually turn and become pirates as well.
Yeah. They kind of... We see that, it's established, and we see that clearly in the third film.
Right, and they join Rigetti and the other guy, and they become.
I think even
counterparts or something.
Pentel and Rigetti, they're kind of confused seeing them.
Yeah, they're looking at each other like, what?
Like, where'd you come from?
Exactly.
Or just something like that. And then their interaction with Sparrow,
Yeah, exactly.
The Royal Guards I'm talking about.
Sparrow's really, I mean, his character is really good. He can get out of anything. He can talk his way out of anything.
Just like he did with those guards,
Exactly.
In the first film and in the third film, and even say how he got off that island when Barbossa and the Black Pearl crew they marooned him on there. Because Gibbs is telling the story to Will Turner how he got off the island, and it had to do with turtles, and Jack used his own hair on his back.
Yeah, which was a total yarn that he spun. I mean, it was absolutely no truth to it at all, because we obviously find out that it was rum runners that gave him passage off. He was only on that island for 3 days.
Yeah.
So, but it was a great story for him to tell anyway.
And that funny scene with Jack trying to say parlay, parlay, but
but he says parsley, and he can't remember what the word is.
I know.
And then Rigetti says parlay, and he goes parlay.
Yeah, parlay. And
they're all looking at him like, you just told him what it was,
Yeah, and the reunion of when Jack and Barbossa meet again, and Barbossa's like, how in the blazes did you get off that island? When you marooned me, you forgot one thing. I'm Captain Jack Sparrow, and it's true. He's Jack Sparrow.
Yeah,
so
he can do anything.
Exactly, and just like what you were saying too,
exactly.
And talk his way out, just whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it was nice because at the end, Sparrow, he got the Black Pearl back.
Exactly.
Yeah, and finally, Will and Elizabeth, they were together, and and of course the end credit scene with Barbossa,
yes,
and Jack the Monkey.
Yes.
What does that specifically mean? Does it mean anything? I kind of forget.
I don't know exactly, but we see, of course, Barbossa turns up in the next movie, which I was absolutely just tickled to death when he came back.
Yeah.
At the end, and then we see, and that's when he comes back at the end of Dead Man's Chest
Right before the movie ends.
right before the movie ends, and
That's everybody's real reaction.
right, and then at World's End is when we see him. He's
Yeah.
So there's really a great series of those movies, and at World's End was also one of my favorites too.
Yeah, it was like everybody in it, and just an epic big film, you know.
That was a trilogy, and they probably could have ended there, and probably ended on a high note, until they did.
It kind of did for a little while.
Yeah, it was. I don't know if they'll ever do another one. I know there's been talks of doing another one.
Yeah, from what I heard too, just
But who knows if they ever will do one or not.
I would think so. Maybe reconsider Johnny Depp returning, as Jack Sparrow. He makes those movies.
And bring back Orlando Bloom and Keira Knightley. Those are great characters.
And Davy Jones.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, we'll
Jones.
thoroughly talk about that when we get to reviewing the fifth film.
Exactly.
But with all that being said, like Curse of the Black Pearl, the first Pirates of the Caribbean film, it's really good,
It's a very good movie.
Yeah, and it's where it all began.
It's where it all began.
With the franchise.
Exactly. Classic pirate film,
And one more thing, we forgot to mention those ladies slapping Sparrow.
I was going to say that. There's three different scenes where, Zoe Saldana, her character slaps him.
She does it too.
And he's, and then the two ladies that, if you want to call them ladies, in Tortuga, slapping for whatever reason. The first one,
I'm just simply saying.
I didn't deserve that. And the second one, he says, okay, I probably deserved that one. And then Zoe Saldana says,
I may have deserved that.
Yeah, and then
I think he said that with...
I definitely deserved that.
Yeah,
because Orlando Bloom asked him, did you deserve that? He said, didn't deserve that one, did you? Or however he says it, and he says, no, I deserve that one.
Yeah. Yeah, so, and any last words on Curse of Black Pearl?
One of my favorites. Classic Disney movie.
Yes. One of the best live-action Disney films right there.
One of the best.
And how do we rate this?
5 stars.
5 stars for you, and for me, 10 out of 10. And of course, we give this 2 thumbs up, way up.
Yep.
So, and you guys let us know what you think of Curse of the Black Pearl if you enjoy it. And trust me, don't worry. We will be reviewing the rest of the pirate films.
Yes.
Well, can't wait for our review of Dead Man's Chest. Like, you'll be just saying a lot of that.
Yeah, I'm sure I will.
Yep. So, again, we'll be getting to that soon. Our review of Curse of Dead Man's Chest and so on. But anyway, so for now, we hope you enjoyed our review of Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of Black Pearl. He gives it 5 stars. I give it 10 out of 10. We give this 2 thumbs up, way up. And any last words still?
I must be off.
Yep. He says that for me. Again, hope you enjoyed our review of Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl, and we'll see you guys in the next video /review video. Take care, and peace out.